It's Monday, April 13th, 2026, and you're listening to Blue Lightning Daily. Today's episode was assembled by a small army of AIs in a trench coat, which means it's fast, it's mostly accurate, and it might try to turn your to-do list into an interpretive dance. I'm Hunter.
And I'm Riley. And if the AI starts making eye contact for too long, we're pulling the plug. Okay, Hunter, what's the headline?
Google just gave the Gemini app a legit new creative superpower. Gemini can now generate interactive three-dimensional models and live simulations inside the chat. Not here's a render, it's here's the object, spin it, zoom it, tweak a slider, watch physics happen.
Wait, so it's like, instead of the assistant handing you a screenshot, it hands you a little toy universe you can poke?
Exactly. And I know it sounds like cute science class feature, but for creators, it's actually a workflow thing. It's the difference between, I think I understand this, and I can test it right now while we're still in the same conversation.
Okay, but I need to say what everyone's thinking. Google is trying to make the chat window eat your whole workflow, like it's Pac-Man, but for your creative stack.
Totally. And it's consistent with where Gemini's been heading. We talked on the blog about that ask, plan, act push, where Gemini is trying to do more than talk. This is the visual version of that. Chat becomes a workspace, not just a transcript.
And creators love that because we hate tab hopping. The amount of times I'm like, okay, cool concept. Then I open another app, then another, then I forget what I was doing, then I end up doom scrolling. So this is fewer exits.
Yup. But we've got to keep it grounded. This is not Blender and Chat. It's not replacing CAD. It's replacing that dead zone before you open the serious tools. Like, we need something to react to so we can stop arguing in abstract.
Speaking of arguing in abstract, there's a question I loved in the prompt doc. If Gemini can generate an interactive pendulum in chat, what's the first executive misunderstanding it prevents?
Oh, easy. Can we see it from the other side? That's the classic. You present one angle of a product mock and suddenly the entire meeting becomes 30 minutes of, but what about the back?
Yes, the stakeholder is like, I'm not convinced, because they're basically reviewing a sculpture through a keyhole.
Exactly. Interactive three-dimensional fixes that. They can rotate it themselves, they can inspect proportions. It prevents the misunderstanding where someone thinks a curve is a corner just because the lighting in the render was dramatic.
Okay, now the evil twin. What brand new misunderstanding does this create?
The slider delusion.
The slider delusion!
Nothing says sound decision-making like dragging a variable until reality agrees with you. You give someone a simulation with controls and now they're like, what if we set gravity to vibes? And they'll make a confident business decision based on a toy model.
Or worse, they'll feel smart while being wrong faster. Like, look, I optimized it, and you're like, babe, you optimized the demo.
Right. Interactivity is powerful, but it also gives people a false sense of rigor. So creators need to frame it correctly. This is for intuition, alignment, exploration. It's not your final engineering proof.
So who's this actually for? Because I can see teachers loving it, obviously, but in creator land, I'm thinking explainers, product marketers, agencies pitching concepts.
All of the above. If you're making content that relies on relationships and motion, like sports breakdowns, science explainers, finance content, even product mechanics, interactive sims are a format upgrade. Not just watch this happen, but change the conditions and see what happens.
Okay, but hold up. Most creators don't get to ship an interactive thing inside Gemini to their audience. Like, you're still posting to TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Those aren't exactly here's a slider platforms.
Great point. Right now, the win is internal. It's for deciding faster, pitching faster, aligning faster. Like when a client says, I don't get it, you can adjust the thing live in the meeting.
So it's less this becomes your deliverable, and more this becomes your pre-production truth serum.
Perfectly said.
Okay, but I'm going to be annoying. Can you export it? Can you take that model into your pipeline?
And that's the awkward phase. Right now, Google's focus is in-app interactivity. So treat it like ideation acceleration, not final asset generation. Export pressure is going to rise immediately because creators will want common three-dimensional formats, embeds, handoffs to other tools.
Because otherwise you get the classic AI problem. Cool, now rebuild it for real.
Exactly. And that's where Adobe's update this week is a funny contrast. Firefly added those precision flow sliders and AI markup, and the whole vibe is control and reducing reprompting. Gemini is doing that, but for interactive objects. Everyone's chasing the same thing, fewer do-overs.
Yeah, we are entering the era of stop making me ask again. Like, the real premium feature is not magic, it's fewer retries.
That's been the theme. Even in video. ByteDance rolling seedance into CapCut is basically generate inside the timeline so you can trim, caption, and publish without leaving the editor. And Google bringing VO into Google Vids with free monthly clips for personal accounts is the same energy. Keep you in the place where the work actually ships.
Workflow gravity. Everyone wants to be the app you don't close.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get practical. If I'm a creator listening right now, how do I prompt this so it actually triggers? Because I can already hear people yelling, it just gave me text.
Google's hint is to start prompts with language like show me or help me visualize. You're basically nudging Gemini into render something interactive mode. So like, help me visualize a sneaker sole tread pattern as an interactive three-dimensional model. Or show me a simple suspension bridge simulation where I can adjust cable tension.
Ooh, and for marketers, show me an interactive product form mockup, like packaging shapes, bottle silhouettes, stuff where the angle matters.
Yes. Or anatomy-style breakdowns if you're doing fitness content. Anything where viewers or stakeholders usually misunderstand depth.
Now the downer, availability. Because I saw it's tied to the Pro model in the Gemini app and it's not in workspace or education accounts yet, right?
That's the current constraint, yeah. Personal Gemini app users with Pro selected are the target. If you're trying to roll this across a school or a company through Workspace, you're waiting.
Which is hilarious because schools are the ones who would spam this all day. Like teachers would be like, finally, the pendulum is penduluming.
Totally. But rollout reality is rollout reality.
So where do we draw the line between interactive object you can think with and toy that makes stakeholders feel smart while approving the wrong thing faster?
The line is documentation and intent. Use it as a shared sketch. When you show it, you say out loud, this is directional. This is for understanding, not spec. And if you're on a team, capture the decisions you made while using it because the danger is people treat the interactive demo as the source of truth.
I'm also thinking creators should screen record it. Like, if you can't export the model, at least capture the interaction as B-roll for a pitch deck or an internal update.
Yes, record the manipulation. That's actually a great workaround. You can turn interactivity into a short video asset even if the model itself stays trapped in Gemini.
Wait, that's kind of poetic. We're like, look at this interactive future, and then we're like, anyway, here's an MP4.
The internet remains undefeated.
All right, final vibe check. Is this a must-have?
Not must-have for everyone, yet. But if you do explainers, product visualization, client reviews, or anything that gets derailed by I can't picture it, this is a meaningful quality of life upgrade.
And if you're a chaos goblin like me, you're also going to use it to win arguments on the internet with live simulations. Not recommended, but inevitable.
Please don't drag the slider until you invent new physics just to dunk on someone in the comments.
No promises.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks for hanging with us on Blue Lightning Daily.
Go check out bluelightningtv.com for AI news and updates, and subscribe so you don't miss the next time our fully automated robot show decides it's a three-dimensional object now.
Catch you later.